Hey everyone, Value Add Mike here today to discuss the number one rule of real estate: location, location, location. For those who don't know, my name is Mike Taravella, Value Add Mike, and me and my business partners manage over $80 million in commercial real estate, specifically in the multifamily sector. And today I wanted to share our resources we use to understand a location so that you as a limited partner can best understand what's going on at that location. And so the first tool that I use is I generally just use Google, put in the city, state, and the word population, and you'll see a chart from Google showing if the population is growing, staying, or declining. Generally, we like to see population growing because it shows that more people are coming to the location, which means more demand for your property. But a very underrated thing that I don't think many people talk about is if your population is less than 30,000 at the city level, you may be in a too tertiary of a market. And so that means you'll have less contractors, less vendors, and most importantly, less property managers. So if you're in those too small of a city, what can happen is that you won't be able to you'll have to stick with that property manager through thick and thin until you can sell. And it's super important that you think of these considerations before you buy, because once you take off the plane, you have to land it by selling or refining. So just making sure you're aware of that. Those two things is you want growing population and a city population of generally, for us, we like 30,000 or more because we have more resources in those markets, but anything less than that are quick notes on that piece. The next thing I look at when getting to know an area is I use the Financial Reserve economic data called FRED and look up the trades for that particular market. Being from Detroit 08-09, heavily automotive, heavily destroyed during the 08-09 because there was the big three and then the vendors and suppliers and just subsequent jobs that just trickled down and destroyed the economy in Detroit. But I think it's important that we look for markets that have no particular trade greater than 20% so that we don't put ourselves in that position of risk, and we're looking for a ton of diversity in those markets. Also, we're looking for generally not one or two large employers that run a market. So the first market that comes to mind being from Michigan is Midland, Michigan, and Dow Chemical. They're pretty much the sole business that employs everyone. And if anything changes or happens to that business, you could be in a world of hurt. And we've seen it time and time again in throughout the U.S. of just that one employer leaving or shutting down, and it could just wreak havoc for that local economy. So we want to make sure we have diverse trades, diverse job sectors when it comes to that plate and when it comes to location, to make sure that we're in a growing economy. And the last thing that's not as quantitative or quantitative that I look for is I look at the Chamber of Commerce or I look at the government websites to see, is the government rewarding entrepreneurial behavior? So that could look like, I know in Lexington, Kentucky, they had a lot of grants. I know in Columbus, Ohio, they have many entrepreneurial incubators and startups and just competitions to help grow the local economy and promote their brand. And so we're looking for a lot of like incubations and a lot of grants and just a lot of money getting rewarded to businesses to help explore, because innovation never stops, and we want to be in an economy where the government is rewarding that behavior. And so we just want to make sure it's business friendly on top of that as well, because the more business, the more jobs, the more people will come, and the more growth will happen. So if this video you got any value from this video, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel and share it with a friend, and let us know what locations you're looking in for your next deal. And until then, we'll see you next time.